Bharath, Divyang, and I'm the founder and CEO of ZugZwang Academy. We have been helping children learn thinking skills over the last 7 years, and this is our 8th academic year. We will be starting classes this weekend, and I want to take this opportunity to address each one of you in terms of why we need to be interested in this at all. Right? So whenever I learn something new, whenever I begin something new, I always start with a simple framework in mind. I start off with the why. Why should I be doing something? Why should I be learning something? The second aspect of that is the how. Once I decide why I should be doing something, I start investigating and thinking about how I should be doing it. And the third aspect of it is to start thinking about the what, the problems and the challenges that I face as I learn this new thing. Now, this framework has helped me immensely over the years, and it has helped many students that I have mentored over the years as well. Right? So as we begin this new year, I wanted to take an opportunity to just apply this with respect to ZugZwang and the programs we offer. Why we're doing what we're doing and how we do it, and what is it that we will be doing as the year goes by. It's also a video that I want to kind of set as the base for all future videos that I'll be creating, which will kind of fit into this framework of either the why, how, or the what of what we do. Okay, so firstly, I want to thank each one of you patrons who have been with us over the years. This could not have been possible without you. So definitely a heartfelt thanks there, because this is our 8th year, and that still raises goosebumps in me. Thank you so much for that. Right? Now let's get into why we're doing what we're doing. Our goal in ZugZwang has always been to give an environment, provide an environment for a child to be able to learn what we call as the thinking skills. Now, the thinking skills are essentially of 3 different types. The very basic type is what we call as FTS, or fundamental thinking skills. So this is the focus, mindfulness, and stamina that a child has towards any activity in life. Once they have a pretty decent threshold of all these fundamental thinking skills, they start developing what is called the core thinking skills, or the CTS. So this is logical reasoning, critical thinking, and problem solving. Now the subject doesn't matter, the particular program doesn't matter, the activity doesn't matter, because this is the fundamental fabric that ties each one of them. And once they learn and develop these core thinking skills and the fundamental thinking skills, they achieve and start learning something called HTS, or HOTS as it's commonly called, higher order thinking skills. Now there are many higher order thinking skills, but to me there is one that encapsulates everything, and that's decision making. If a child knows how to make decisions, then every other skill needs to be in place for them to take the right decisions without the biases and the fallacies that usually go with our thinking process. So this is why we do what we do. Every child that we meet, every program in which they're enrolled in, and every time we interact with somebody, our goal has always been this: to develop their thinking skills in each one of these dimensions. Right? And over the years, children develop this. When they start off, we focus primarily on the FTS. As they reach the intermediate levels in different programs, we start focusing on the CTS. And as they reach higher order, a higher level, advanced level skills in either chess or robotics or programming, we start working on their decision making. So this is essentially the framework on which ZugZwang is kind of based on. Now comes the second part. So now that we know why we are doing it, how we do it. So the how aspect of it is that we have basically been teaching children through 5 main programs. It started with chess way back in 2012, but over the years we have started teaching programming, robotics, math, and Rubik's. When it comes to math, we teach both regular school math as well as what we call as problem solving math. And in other words, a math that helps children develop for Olympiads. Right? So end of the day, I'm sure you'll agree that the ability to do well in math is going to depend on these thinking skills. Right? So these are the different programs that we offer, and now comes the what. A more important, few other parts of it is what we would be doing in each one of these programs, which is something that we would kind of share in the future videos, what we will be doing in each one of these programs. But to give you a brief idea of the every class that we do, we typically drive it through challenges. So the what is essentially solving a challenge, because when you solve a challenge, when you achieve a challenge, it not only gives you the motivation to do more, but it also ensures that all of these skills are in play. And every time you have to think critically to solve a problem, every time you solve the problem, every time you reason logically to achieve a particular outcome that you're looking for, these thinking skills enhance in a child. And that is extremely important. That's our fundamental goal. Right? So this is the why, the how, and the what of what we do in ZugZwang. Now, since this is our 8th year, there's a lot of developments as well. And one of the main and the most development that I'm really looking forward to is that we'll be developing our own app. I'm hoping that this is going to get rolled out in the next 1 month or so. The app we're looking for is something where we can communicate with parents seamlessly and kind of share a lot of material. So our goal is to develop learning that can go on demand, because that's a very strong value and belief in ZugZwang that learning should happen on demand, right? And as we build this app, we're going to flow into the second aspect of what we want to do this year, which is to build a community of learning, right? So Edmodo is, to just give you a clear analogy, it's kind of like the Facebook of learning. So Edmodo gives you an opportunity for every child to interact with the greater community of students who are part of ZugZwang, and to kind of learn from that, because learning not only comes from lectures and classes and experiments and projects and activities, but there's also a lot of social learning, right? So these two are going to be kind of very key driving agendas for us during this year. The next aspect of it is the new programs that we are excited to learn. So during this summer, for example, we did cryptology, which was an amazing hit with children. Absolutely loved teaching it, and as well as seeing the children enjoy this. And in addition to that, one new feature that we want to bring in this year is the idea of workshops. So we are looking to kind of conduct brief workshop for children, which gives them exposure to different aspects, both soft skills as well as new technical skills. Things like AR, VR, 3D printing, programming under new platforms like Alexa. So these are what we're looking forward in terms of workshop. In addition, there's one particular program that I'm trying to roll out, maybe during the year, somewhere midway, is about science. So while I interact with children, there's a huge gap in terms of experimental science, to kind of develop a scientific thinking among children. And that's one of the reasons why I would like to start looking at this. So this is the exciting part of it. But given that, I finally want to leave you with a few thoughts. Right? And irrespective of whether you're part of ZugZwang or you're seeing this video for the very first time, I have always been somebody who's extremely interested in knowing how does one educate children towards a successful life. Right? And over the years, I've read through many material, I've collected empirical evidence from teaching children, seeing how they respond to, and also to understand what is uniquely the threats of the 21st century. With many children kind of getting addicted to video games and TV and iPad and losing their attention capabilities, ability to focus. So with these threats looming large, with the pressure of academics going up, how are they preparing themselves to kind of get better, right? And I've kind of distilled this down, and I believe the answer is compounding wisdom. So if you've seen many of these motivational videos, they'll give you this example for what happens if somebody does 1% more than what they're supposed to do and 1% less than supposed to do. So when you compound a 1% increase for an entire year, 365 days, the impact is that 1 becomes more like 37 times, and that's much, much more than what happens when you just drop by 1%. So this, just to kind of give you the idea of what compounding essentially means. Now let's come down to what this compounding wisdom basically is. Compounding is an effect which is almost miraculous. You put in money every year and then suddenly you seem to have a treasure trove of money, right? But it's not just about money, it's about wealth, it's about knowledge, and most importantly, it's about wisdom. When you do something for a long enough period of time, you realize that your learning is not linear. There is an exponential aspect to your learning, to your wisdom, to the knowledge that you have picked up, to the skills that you have learned, right? And we kind of paraphrase this particular concept in pithy idioms like, practice makes perfect. But why does practice make perfect? Practice makes perfect because of this natural way of compounding wisdom, compounding knowledge, compounding skills. And that's the reason I strongly believe that in this world where things are extremely narrow in terms of a time window, that children need to learn things over a period of time. They have to learn over a long period of time, and they have to kind of develop this craftsman perspective towards life, where they end up learning, let's say, chess over a period of 4, 5, 6 years, and that's when they start developing the skills needed to really achieve the craftsman level. So it's not necessary that they have to do it with everything, but pick your program. It could be the ones that we are offering, it could be ones that even beyond this. It could be a sports, it could be a hobby, it could be a skill. But you pick that one which will essentially help you compound the wisdom. Now that's from a student perspective. I also see that from a teacher's perspective. Now when I look at my own self in the mirror and say, what was I teaching in 2012 versus what I'm teaching right now, I see the distilled knowledge and wisdom that I've picked up over the years to identify what takes a student. How can they learn faster? How can they learn better? How do we keep them motivated? And I think that perfection and excellence which I've strived for over the years is a result of this compounding wisdom. Now, when you see this, all of this kind of goes into this one word, grit. Grit is nothing but perseverance towards achieving a goal, towards going in a journey, proceeding towards what we love doing. And believe me, this is out there in all the positive psychology literature and the learning and child psychology literature, where they say that the one quality you want to develop in a child is grit. And I completely agree and believe in that, because that is the single most differentiator between success and failure, between a child who is well prepared and has a steady head over his shoulders to go about life, versus somebody who is anxious, worried, and a little scared about what's out there. So I wish that each parent who's watching this thinks about how you can develop this in your child. And if you feel you can partner with us, then please reach out. I think our just searching for ZugZwang Academy will give us all the contact ID that you would need. But we are on a mission to help children develop this perseverance and grit in each of their interest areas, whether it's chess, robotics, math, science, physics, Olympiads, it doesn't matter. But we definitely want to work with children to help them achieve this particular skill. That said, I thank you, and thank you for watching it till the end. And I wish each one of you the best of luck and life